Good evening and welcome to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore alongside Brian Hill for WJLX Sports. Tonight, Coach's Corner from the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper, where they have live entertainment starting at 7:30 tonight with Mark Palmer. And this will be a great place to watch the ball games tonight and this weekend. Brian, another week in the books, and here we are. We're week 7 now?
Yeah, and of course, as we detailed earlier on this week that came out Tuesday, this is when the gears really shift. Every region game counts, but at this point, now you're starting to figure out who's in, who's out, who's got work to do, what they've got to do to get in, and it really shifts into the playoff mode starting in week 6 and week 7 and here on out.
Before we get to tonight's guest, who is Coach Shane Smothers of the Cordova Blue Devils, Cody Headrick here as well, Jake Kiser. We'll talk to those guys tonight. Let's recap what happened this past week. Jasper defeated Hayden 25-13.
Yeah, and obviously a humongous win for Jasper. Brett, they're still in contention with that victory to maybe even possibly stay home for the first round of the playoffs if they keep it up.
The future is right in front of them. Big game in Winston County as Meek defeats Addison by 20, 44-24.
That was the most incredible atmosphere I've ever seen. And, of course, Meek, more or less the de facto region champions now, considering that the challenges are now over.
Dora defeated the Cordova Blue Devils 42-21.
Yeah, and, of course, this sets up that four-way tie at 3-1 in the top of the region. But the only team that's out of that region is Curry, so both Cordova and Dora still going.
Speaking of Curry, they lost to Hamilton 40-24.
Yeah, and it was tough, but I tell you what, this Curry offense, they're really putting up good numbers. They're getting it done on the offensive line. Another great week for them.
Winston County, well, they keep rolling on. Cold Springs 24-0.
Yeah, and that's probably the first shutout that we've seen from Winston County in a long time, but no matter what, solid region victory.
Tough game for Summit Christian as they drop one to South Lamar 7-0.
That's got to be our oddest score that I've seen in a long time. Apparently, South Lamar scored one touchdown. That's all that happened in the game.
That's it. That's it. Thursday night games, we had Lynn picking up a huge win at Pickens County, 21-20 in overtime.
Yeah, Lynn's in the driver's seat now in the region, and pretty much they can pave their way all the way to that region title.
Fayette County defeated Oakman 35-7.
Yeah, a lot more competitive in the first half, and then Fayette County pulled away from them. So the young Oakman team still growing.
Gordo defeats Carbon Hill 56-14.
Number 2 team in the state for a reason, Brett.
Absolutely. We'll take our first break of the night. When we come back, we'll chat with the Cordova Blue Devils. That's coming up after this 2-minute break. You're listening to Coach's Corner live from the Pie Factory. We invite you by to come see us and enjoy the evening here at the Pie Factory. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. We welcome you back to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Of course, come by, enjoy a meal, enjoy the ball games tonight and all weekend long. But, Brian, this week our guests are the Cordova Blue Devils. Let's introduce them.
Yes, of course, number one, we have head coach Shane Smothers. He's joined by longtime starting quarterback Cody Headrick and also a linebacker Jake Kiser.
Coach, good to see you, as always.
Sir, hey, thank you guys for having us.
Talk about your time at Cordova. Of course, you've kind of went full circle. You've been around for a long time coaching, and, of course, I knew you from Walker. And,
That's right.
And then you left. You came back now to Cordova. And talk about kind of this journey and leading you back to Cordova, and what makes that a special place.
Man, I tell you, just getting to come back home was awesome.
Yeah.
But not just getting to come back home, but getting to come to a place like Cordova has made it even that much better. I tell you, just, people can get up here and talk about the tradition and all the past, but that's easy. I wanted to be a part of what's going to happen. And, the kids are hungry, and I just want to be a part of that. Of course, it's nice to be around family, but it's about these kids. They've had a lot of change. I was the seniors' fourth head coach last year, and that's not ever good.
No.
So they needed some consistency, and I wanted to come try to be a part of that and love on these boys.
You talk about the tradition, and, of course, we're all familiar with it. And I was going to ask you, how does that change as far as, of course, Cordova had all that success in 3A, and then y'all were a growing community and found yourself last year in 5A. And the landscape has changed
tremendously.
And it offers more challenges. And kind of talk about the challenges versus, of course, the tradition and the expectations, but that came at a much lower level.
Yes. Number one is the biggest change would be the depth. The number game, even though we were 5A, we'll say 4A now, and even when we were 5A the last 2 years, we didn't have the numbers that those schools had on the field. Now, in the school you did, but not on the field. We had 46 last year and 43 this year, and last year we would have teams that would have 70 to 80 kids. So that was number one, a huge deficit in our part, because you're talking about practice. Kids we got a lot of two-way players, starters on both sides of the ball, and when you go to practice with 40 players, you're having to also practice both ways, where a lot of schools we play against don't have to do that. So that's a big difference.
And how do you combat that? I mean, what do you do? I mean, you're building a program. I guess it starts at the junior high level, just trying to get kids to start playing football.
Spend a lot of time in the middle school.
Love
on those guys. And our coaches do a tremendous job. They run the same system we run.
Yeah.
And I think that's key. So, they're in a good weight program. So when they get to be in ninth graders, they just roll into what we're doing. I think that's going to benefit everybody.
Sure.
Cody, let me ask you, you, of course, been the longtime starter. You're a senior. You've seen the evolution through the years, and, of course, you're part of this class that's been through so many different coaching changes. How different was it for you to have the same coach for the first time come back for 2 years?
Oh, yeah, it was something I ain't never seen before. It was in a good way. It was awesome to have another coach come back and extend the playbook a little bit, because we'd have a whole different offensive playbook every new coach. So it was good to have him back for a year too. So
talk about we'll stick with you, Cody, about playing for Coach Smothers and kind of what he means to you and the program, and also a chance to win brownie points right here with Coach.
Coach knows I love him. He's like my another dad. It's always a good time around him, and he's a great coach. And
Jake, I'll ask you the same question. What's kind of going off what Brian said, having the consistency, and then what's it like playing for Coach Smothers?
It's awesome having a coach to actually come back for more than 1 year.
Yeah.
You learn a lot more. You learn how he coaches and everything else, and it's been an honor coaching or playing for Coach Smothers. I mean, he's really made me grow as a person and everything else.
Coach, these two guys seem like fine young men. Talk about them and what they mean to you.
Let me tell you what, you won't find any better young men than these two sitting beside me. And it starts at home. Their parents have been very supportive. It's obvious they love their kids, but they want the best for their kids. It's just been a blessing. And when I chose, when Brian said, hey, he'd love to have you and two players, it was instant.
Yeah.
You know, of course, Cody represents the offense and Jake represents the defense. But man, they've been a rock in this program. They have been through a lot, and they're not the only seniors who's gone through all these changes. But they've been consistent. They've been consistent for me and our staff for 2 years in the weight room, outside the weight room, in the classroom. They've just been good leaders for us.
Brian?
Let me ask both Cody and Jake this, because I love to always capture this answer for seniors. Because unfortunately, no matter what, the time is drawing near. Hopefully it'll be in the postseason, but the time to the end is drawing near. In your entire time wearing the Blue Devil uniform as a football player, what's the memories that stood out, or a favorite memory for you?
Favorite memory? That's a good question right there. It's just every day at practice, man. Just being around all the guys, being around all these good coaches. You gotta love it, man. That's my favorite memory. Is just coming out to practice when it's in the summer workouts, when it's 100 degrees outside, just everybody's sweating, everybody's just getting after it, man. That's my favorite memory right there.
Jake, what about you?
I'm pretty much going to hit on the same thing he did. It's the brotherhood for me. I mean, you got 40-something guys that show up, putting blood, sweat, and tears on the field, and everyone's working for one thing. That's probably one of my favorite memories right there. One of my favorite things about playing here.
Cordova Blue Devils join us tonight here at the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. We're going to take our second break. When we come back, we'll talk with Coach about the upcoming schedule and what's ahead for the Blue Devils. That's coming up after this 2-minute timeout. We welcome you back to the Pie Factory Coach's Corner on WJLX. Of course, bottom of the hour, Coach Philip Bailey will join us from the Jasper Vikings. Top of the hour, Nick Saban from Tuscaloosa. And hey, Coach. Coach Smothers, let's talk about, of course, tough night the other night against a rival in Cordova, and talk about that game.
No doubt about it. We had a good week of practice. We felt really good going into the game, but when the game started, we had a really good run with David, but we had a turnover, and they happened to capitalize 2 plays later, which that didn't do us in. But the next drive, Cody and them put together an unbelievable drive that got us down. It took a lot of time off the clock, but we didn't get it in, and they went down and hit the trick play on us and made it 14-0. It seemed like within a few seconds, and we never got back in it after that.
Cody, talk about your performance, 11 of 26 passing, 112 yards, 3 touchdowns, and talk about the game against Dora.
Yeah, like Coach said, we had a great practice coming into the week, but like he said, it's hard to start off 14-0. So, but you could tell that the Dora had the bad taste in their mouth from last year, the tough loss last year, and you could tell they came in there ready to play, ready to win. So.
Coach, doesn't get any easier, always, with region play. Now you got the 7th-ranked team in the state, Northside, coming in. Well, you got to go there, 5-1, and kind of a must-win for the playoff hopes. And I know your guys probably realize that.
Yes, they know what's at task. We've got to win out.
Yeah.
And it starts tomorrow night against those guys, and it just happens to be one of the best teams we'll see this year. They're extremely good at what they do. Offensively, their base is what we call the scrum. They'll have 11 guys in the box. Therefore, we'll have 11 guys in the box, so there'll be 22 in a very small radius. But hopefully that plays into our part because we've taken pride in the weight room and getting bigger and stronger, and we feel good that we can defend it for the most part. But they're really good at it. Defensively, they're very aggressive. So, offensively, we got to be smart and take what they give us and be really solid on special teams. And we feel good about it. We feel like we match up pretty well, but we know what's at task, and we know that it's a very good opponent waiting on us.
Jake, this is an old school, almost unconventional by today's standards type of offense that you guys are going to be facing. And obviously it's a big challenge for you guys as linebackers and also the front in front of you to try to get that contained. What has the talk been? What have y'all really been focusing on most?
Read your keys. Read your keys and stay low. That's been our talk all week. If you don't read your keys, if we don't have 11 guys reading their keys, it's going to get ugly fast. And if we don't stay low, that's been the talk all week.
Coach, what about the rest of the schedule? What is it looking like as we go into the stretch here?
Yeah, well, travel tomorrow night, and then we travel again to Oak Grove, and they've made a big turnaround.
Sure
Coach has done a good job. They put in the wing tee, and a lot of teams they just don't run that, so it's caught a lot of people. You get 4 days to work on that. That's not a lot of time.
Right.
And but they're playing good football. They've got several good athletes. Now I don't know what they've had in the past, but they're improving each week, so that's going to be a good contest at their place. Then we finish up at home for 2 weeks. We host Curry for a big homecoming night. That's going to be it, and they're getting better and better each week. Like you said, Brian, their offense is getting better, so that'll be fun. That's where I'm a graduate from, so that'll be fun. Seeing a lot of folks that I've not seen in a while. And then we finished on a Thursday night against Carver out of Birmingham, which is actually playing better ball than they had last year. So and that's who we finished up beating last year, week 9 last year. So that's what's left at, 2 away and two more at home.
Brian?
Well, it's obvious also, guys, that as you're looking at this, things have taken that drastic turn from, let's just say 2 years ago where there was barely any wins to you guys still being in playoff contention. If you guys can stay the course and win on out and get yourselves a playoff bid, let me ask this for you, Cody. Considering all that you and Jake have been through and the rest of the seniors, how much would it be to be able to get to the postseason?
Oh, it'd be awesome to and we have a great opportunity to win out and make the playoffs, but we all have to give it all we got, leave it all on the field, and it'd be amazing.
Coaches, it takes a little bit of luck as well, and it seems like you guys haven't had a lot of luck because you've lost some games. It's been just so close.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 losses was by 9 points.
That's tough.
That's a heartbreaker because these kids, we know what they go through during the week. These kids work extremely hard.
Yeah.
Not just, at practice, weight room, film. They want to be successful. They work to be successful, and when you lose those games by 4, 4, and 1, it's a heartbreaker. It's heartbreaking for coaches because we love these kids. Mm-hmm. It ain't about us. It's about them, and we want to see them after a ball game smile and have fun. And when something you got and then you lose it right at the end, it tears you up for them.
It's the worst way to lose.
It is, and I tell you, we'll start tomorrow night. I think these kids, we're bound to have something good happen.
Yeah.
And we keep saying that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we try to tell ourselves, control what you can control.
Yeah.
It's going to come. You just don't know when.
Yeah.
You know, just keep doing what you're doing. And these kids, they've never checked up. Even after last week, you know, nobody wants to lose a rivalry game.
No.
Especially the way we played. But they came right back Sunday, watched film, lifted really well, had a good week of practice. And that's the type of kids we got. That's the character that we have that we talk about so good on these guys.
Coach, talk about your staff and some of the
Yeah.
guys working with you and kind of the unsung heroes that you don't
no doubt.
you don't get to hear about so much.
No doubt. Offense coordinator is Connor Young. You know, his daddy, Royce Young, been a long-time coach. Actually, he coached at Cordova for a semester. But been a head coach in the county. He's a good up-and-coming coach, young guy we got from Gardendale that knows the county. On the offensive side, Jace Cordell, legend. You know, I call all the guys who played at Cordova legends. He does our OL and helps with our defensive line. And you can't beat a guy like Cordell because he knows. He's been there. He's hit those sleds with these linemen. So they respect him as much as you can. Tim Simon, another legend, does running backs and DBs and basically coordinating the defense right now. Love that guy. Kids love him. He coached them when they were young. He had them in the weight room a lot. So and again, a legend. I mean, he's been there, done that. And hey, we had a film on him last week just watching it. You know, our kids are just watching him like
he's a Hall of
NFL
Famer.
superstar.
Yep.
Yeah,
He is, Walker County
and
Hall
that
of
means
Fame.
a lot to our kids and our program. Brandon Milliken, a longtime coach, he's our head softball coach. You know, he and I played high school football. You know, I threw the football to him in high school, and so known him for a long time. So it's been good to rekindle that friendship back. So that's been really good. Chase Trotter, another guy legend that played in the 14-15 or threw a lot of touchdowns in those semifinal games. Those 2 years they went. So it's good to have him back home, wanting to be a part of it. Tyler Kakendall, another guy from Cordova, home, been there. Like he just told me, we had a good talk yesterday. He said, Coach, I'll be here until I roll over. You know, this is my home, and I love it, and that's just awesome to hear.
Sure.
And he's got a young kid coming up, in middle school, so I'm excited for him to have an opportunity to coach his kid doing that. Shane Smith is a volunteer coach, and he played a legend. He played, had a really good career. You know, actually that's the last time Cordova actually jumped in the playoffs was his senior year when he about lost his eye. But he's kinfolk also. He's my cousin, and love him. The kids love him. Cody was a 9th grader playing behind him, so that's sort of been cool. Now he's getting to be somewhat of a coach to these guys, and just a phenomenal staff. I love them, and they put the time in, and they do what's asked of them and more, and that's all you can ask for.
And you're talking about some of these guys who either grew up there or played there. You know, you can put together a staff, but it means more when it means more to them, because
Yes, sir.
it's just
Yes, sir.
they deeply care about.
Very invested.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
whole,
very.
not just them, but their families. They're all invested, and they want what's best for these kids, and that you can't beat that.
Well,
with
Coach,
with a stick.
yeah, that's right,
With the
a
stick.
stick. Coach, any final comments before we wrap up the segment here?
Well, man, I love you guys, and really appreciate you guys, what you guys do, and
Appreciate it.
that's it. That's it. God bless you, man. And we,
you.
I know you're excited for the rest of the season, see how it unfolds.
Yeah.
We are too.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
Coach.
Cody and Jake coming.
Yes, Cody and Jake, thank you so much for coming out tonight, and good luck on the rest of the season. All right, we're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll come back, wrap things up here, and get ready for the Coach Philip Bailey Show. It's coming up next here on JLX. We are back at the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore, Brian Hill. We are ramping up, of course, Coach's Corner, and coming up next, it's the Coach Philip Bailey Show. Coach Bailey and the Jasper Vikings going to be talking about their big matchup on the road tomorrow night against Carver of Birmingham. We invite you to come out to the Pie Factory. Of course, we are here each and every Thursday night, starting at 6 o'clock for Coach's Corner and the Coach Philip Bailey Show. It's at 7 o'clock. We will have the Coach Nick Saban Show live from Tuscaloosa. Corey is upstairs. Corey, there he is. Wave, Corey. There he is. He is Corey. Corey always taking care of us here. We are up top on the upstairs deck, the upstairs patio. And, Brian, this is always a great spot to kind of watch all the football games and have a great meal and beverage or whatever you want here.
Particularly when the sun goes down.
Particularly when the sun goes down. It'll be dark out here by the time we get wrapped up. I was thinking about that earlier.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. All right, we're going to break away here. A 1-minute break. Come back with Coach Philip Bailey's show, head football coach of the Jasper Vikings, coming up next.